Welcome to the Garden State HSWrestling.com podcast Near Fall. I'm your host, Donald J. Brower. Exciting week of wrestling so far. We're recording this a little early this week so I can pound a few watching the Giants play tomorrow, hopefully advancing in the playoffs. But exciting week of action, you know, looking at what we did. But before we get into the action, we got to pay some bills. So Dan Warnikoff, champion athletes. He is the man. Dan has helped so many people achieve their goals. And, you know, the one thing I always hear is, I want to lose weight, but I don't want to diet. It's not really what Dan does with dieting. He gives you a meal plan so you can lose weight, still enjoy stuff, but slowly get healthy. You know, you got to think of your body like a brand new car, a Tesla, or I don't know, Tesla's electric, so I don't know if that's the greatest example, but a fancy new car. Are you going to go down to the place where they get the late night gas deliveries, they got water up the tank? No, you're going to go to the best. You're going to get the premium. That's what Dan delivers, the premium fuel for your body. Because you got to think of your car like a premium car. It's a premium vehicle. You want it to do premium things, you got to put the premium food in it. Dan Warnikoff, champion athletes. Now, as I said, exciting week. Had some great, matches we covered. Hunterdon Central at North Hunterdon. Really solid match. North Hunterdon pulled away towards the end. Some of their strengths, really showcased themselves in that match. But then in an interesting twist, Hunterdon Central then goes up to Warren Hills and loses by a few points. So it's really one of those years where anybody can beat anybody. And, it's going to be interesting to see who kind of perseveres in the Skylands Conference from each division. I know with the way it's loaded with Warren Hills, you have North in there, you have Del Valle. It's going to be a barn burner trying to figure out who's going to win out of this. Another match we had a chance to cover was the Big North Championship Public School Tournament. Really, really great time. So the way this was set up, for anybody who didn't follow along, on Friday night, 4 schools met at a location. So, for example, PCTI, Passaic County Technical Institute, hosted one. Clifton hosted one. Riverdale hosted one. And I think it was Old Tappan hosted the other one. So what would happen is it'd be similar to like you see now for the first round of sectionals, or, pretty much like a quick duel. So 2 teams would wrestle, another 2 teams would wrestle on the other mat, and then the winners would then face each other. Whoever won both matches on Friday then came to Passaic County Technical Institute this morning and wrestled. It was an east-west, north-south breakdown. So for our area, the ones I was really excited about were PCTI, the host team, which would have been very strange if we were having a wrestling match in their gym and they weren't there, and Clifton. And these are my top 2 teams in Passaic County. They are in the same division. They're actually going to be seeing each other in 10 days or so. We're going to be out there live streaming it a week from Wednesday. And we'll have our schedule up for this week. We have a couple matches, and we're also going to be live streaming the Passaic County Tournament Finals from West Milford. But really solid match between the two. A little worried in the beginning for Clifton in their matchup against Old Tappan. They were down early, fought back, used the strength of their upper weights, especially Nick Doctor, Joseph Abil, and their heavyweight, who I'm drawing a blank his name, but they called him Ivan. Here's a name I'm not even going to try to pronounce. But he had a really big showing in both his matches. They wind up coming back and winning. PCTI cruised in the first round over Riverdale. So it sets up a matchup of my top 2 teams. The turning point, I called this in the broadcast, you can watch it again on YouTube. We have it up there. The turning point to me is I saw everything breaking down as I started at 120, the heavyweight match, because that's always seemed to be what it is. And as I said in the broadcast, you'll always kind of get those guys who you understand, the doctors, the Abils, the Hamdas. Those are the guys who are going to, get you your wins. We understand that. Those are going to be the guys who possibly get you bonus points. It's always the unsung heroes. And when I tell you that heavyweight match was a banger, I know that's a youth kid term, and the people are going to go, oh, man, don't use that term. That match was insane at heavyweight. They were going at it. And, Clifton winds up winning it. They wind up clinching it at 106 with a decision. They forfeit the last match. It was just ridiculously a good match. And I said it on the broadcast. I'll say it again here. That match was one of the reasons I love wrestling. It came down to the end. Everybody was out there, giving it their all. And the least expected guy, the heavyweight there, everybody was kind of thinking, oh, no big deal, came through in the end. Great matchup. And we can't wait to do it again next year. It was just an amazing setup. So after I did that, going from PCTI, I hustled and made it up to Phillipsburg in about, I don't want to please watch it. I made it about an hour. I know that might not be exactly time friendly, but it happened. So got to talk to some of the winners there. We have a separate setup that we're going to be doing with that. That'll be released. Yesterday it was released. It'll be up talking about, I got a chance to do some video interviews some audio interviews with every champion because I couldn't do video, whatever. Anyway, so I got a chance to talk to every one of them. That's up now. Go check that out. But just a couple quick notes. I know Phillipsburg won. They won it pretty handily going into the finals, had a couple champions. So congratulations, Phillipsburg. The OW was Anthony Rossi from Hunterdon Central for, a big win. A big win over state medalist Wado from North Hunterdon. So, big matchup there. And that was a really good, solid matchup, which you expect between those two. So I think it gives Rossi a little momentum heading forward. And, we'll see how Wado responds. But I will also want to take a second real quick to give my best wishes to Patrick Kamarzak from Hunterdon Central, the 190 senior. Got a little bit of a stinger, was taken to the hospital for precautionary reasons. Our best wishes to you and your team for speedy recovery. No loss of any type of feeling or anything like that. Coach just said it was a stinger. Obviously, with neck injuries, you just want to make sure. So our best from him to him from all of us. It was a scary scene and kind of changed the tone of a room a little bit, but we hope he's doing well. And that. So, but yeah, if you want to see a little bit more about my exploits at the HWS, it's over there. That'll be on that site. The one thing I'm going to say, and I'm sure Jared's going to give me a talking to after this. Please don't text me asking me what's going on with the stream. That's not my job this year. It was not given to me. Another company was given the job. Basically lied that they were going to do the whole tournament. They got paid all this money to do the finals and a horrible job from what people told me. Not my opinion. I mean, it could be, but a lot of people were telling me it was just a very shoddy operation, but that's not me. We provide great quality streams, and you can see that on our site. That was not me. So please do not send me angry text messages asking what's going on. That's not me. I'm Guardian State HS Wrestling. The other guy, that's him. So before Jared gives me the stank eye a little more and yells at me, we're going to move on to some other matches this week that kind of opened my eyes. And I said, wow, I can't believe they're doing that well. When we go to this past Wednesday, when I look at some of these matchups I saw, the one that really kind of sticks out to me was Sparta beating Morris Knowles. Now, not that I had anything against Sparta. Morris Knowles, had some guys hurt. Sparta comes out and wins it. Cool. Totally, I understand that. It was a little shocking for people because I think they thought Sparta was down. I think the shows they're not. I think Sparta is a quality team who can, wrestle with anybody and be in there, doing what they do. Another team that I really like this is a great statement for how their program's going. It was a loss, but Dover pushed Madison to the limit, 40-39. Madison's going to win that conference. They're going to win the Independence Conference. And Dover was right there with them. So, that program's looking real up. So William Dodd has done some great things with that program. And another team in that area too, I want to give a real big shout out because, not that from what the information I got at the beginning of the season, I prejudged something. And I'm going to admit it, I was wrong. I'm going to give big props to Coach Jerry McMickle. I didn't think they had, the guys or the strength to kind of compete. They're in matches. I mean, he's doing an amazing job with those numbers. I don't know if it's just the way he's coaching, if it's bringing back, wrestlers a lot of these kids saw growing up, like a Nick Pizzuta or Aaron Feliz, or Nigel Feliz, and, all these guys who were there. It's become, the culture's changed. And, I that's a testament. I mean, that program was looking rough the last few years, and he's really, really brought that program around. And another match on Thursday, Warren Hills at Hunterdon Central. Warren Hills won 30-26. We should have been out there, but things happen. But the one thing that I think kind of opened my eyes too, we talked earlier just about the Sparta Morris Knowles match. Roxbury was undefeated in the division, has Stanich, has some other guys. Morris Knowles is finally getting healthy, and they went in there 49-24. Excuse me. That was one of those. There's sometimes you see scores and you're like, what? So that was one of those scores I had to check because, expect to be a little closer. And then West Morris is still on a roll. They take Sparta out 45-30. I mean, West Morris is going to win the national division. Moving down, they finally got a full lineup. And Chris and their head coach is basically out there, Chris Merrill is out there getting that squad going. And I mean, that was the one thing, the knock on them the last few years. It was never the talent. They have some really talented wrestlers, Campanaro, Frayne up top, Dean, there's some ton of wrestlers. I know I'm missing a few other ones, but quality wrestlers throughout, but now they're pretty much filling the lineup. Like, that's the biggest difference is it's easier. Okay, if a guy goes out there and loses and gives up 3, that's better than giving up 6. They were starting down 18-0 at most matches. So hell of a job getting that all set up. And then nothing really else that jumps out. Like I said, the big duel, like I said, with the big duels, big North duels last night, some teams in action, like I said, PCT. Wayne Hills was really impressive, lost to PCT in the finals last night. But yeah, I think the biggest thing obviously was, the big duels, big North duels, and just like I said on the stream, we talked about it, loved it. It was great. We'd love to do it again. We got some big stuff coming up in Passaic. I know we're going to be doing some stuff with another county tournament. Can't spill the beans yet, but it's a new tournament we haven't done yet. That'll be coming up. We added that to the schedule, and it's just a fun time. This is the best time when you can be in wrestling. You're past the holiday tournaments. You're getting into the county tournaments, but you're getting some of these really big regular season matchups, which is what you want to do, those rivalry matchups, those big matchups with everything else, the top teams banging heads with each other. I mean, damn, it's a good time to be a wrestling fan. Now, before we go, we're going to announce my OW, and my rankings are updated on the site. Go check them out at GardenStateHSWrestling.com under the standings page. They're there for the county. We're going to be updating them, as we get the results in, obviously. But for my OW, I think it's only fair. And, I was looking and I was debating. I said, what would I go with? We talked about him already. Anthony Rossi from Hunterdon Central. He's my outstanding wrestler of the week. You beat a medalist in the finals, and now you're here, winning and doing, especially the week Hunterdon Central had, beating North Hunterdon, losing to Warren Hills, and I know one of their teammates lost his father, and that was very trying on all of them, and they wanted to work hard, and they all told me that was part of why they fought so hard this week. And he was one of them, and our condolences to him on the loss of his father. But it was inspiring to see what Hunterdon Central did there, and also having a teammate injured at the match. They really put the work in, and Rossi did an amazing job. So I mean, that was our unanimous outstanding wrestler for the tournament, and he's my wrestler of the week for GardenStateHSWrestling.com. So as we go. Remember, check us out on our socials, Facebook, GardenStateHSWrestling.com, Twitter, GardenStateHSW, on Instagram, Garden State HS Wrestling. On YouTube, click the link, like and subscribe. Thank you for everybody who's been liking and subscribing. It's always a great thing when I get up and check my emails and I have like 50 new emails and it says so-and-so subscribe. Had a big subscription uptick today with the Passaic stuff, but thank you for everybody who you're doing. And now if you're watching us for the first time seeing anything, click on the admin at GardenStateHSWrestling.com if you want us to come do this for you. We're expanding. I said it on the podcast and the interview today on the live stream, and I'll say it again. This started as a hobby for me, and now it's a business. And it's one of the biggest growing businesses in the area. Others may try and say they're better. I'm proving it. I don't have issues. We're out there. We're live streaming what we need to do. We're doing what we need to do. We don't basically, try to cheat people like other people do. When I say we're the best, I mean it, and I can back it up. Others can't. And I don't follow other people. They follow me. That's kind of how it tries to do. So we can give them tips. But I digress. But before I get in too much trouble and Jared has to call HR and the lawyers on me, for Jared, the podcasting legend, I'm Donald J. Brower. We'll see you next week live at the Passaic County Tournament.